Hello. So the ETF got approved as expected. The biggest beneficiary in the move is in ETH because the market is now, remember, after the Bitcoin applications went in, the next applications were for ETH ETFs and they're being considered now. And so the market is betting that it's a pretty sure thing. I think that the ETH applications will be next. And so coins associated with ETH, like DAO and LDO, Lido Finance, and Arbitrum, are really, really benefiting for this move. So we looked at them earlier today. Let's take a look what's going on. So when we looked at ETH, we were looking for a breakout above this 50% resistance level, and we've got it, which is pretty good after this sideways trading. And our next upside target in ETH is 3,000 as that rallies up for its kind of anticipating that approval. So short term, how are we trading this? Well, first of all, we need to let this spike play out because you don't ever want to buy the top of the spike, but we need to see and buy pullbacks once this tops out, as long as it doesn't drop back below this sideways range, and as long as it doesn't close, for me, on a daily close back underneath 24.74, I think it's a pretty good trade to continue higher. Let's take a look at ETH Bitcoin, because ETH Bitcoin was holding this previous low and there was room for it to go a little bit lower on a bit of a shakeout. And here on this ETH Bitcoin, I was expecting there was a possibility that we would continue down to 0.046. And in fact, this previous low has held. So short term, obviously, we've got some pretty strong targets. First of all, back to this weekly 200 moving average, which was resistance when we look back to November for 5 weeks, and we could not get above it. And then we retested it on the end of December, beginning of January, still couldn't get above it. So that's really got to be our first target. That moving average at the moment is at 0.56, sorry. And above 0.056, we're going to back test this 61.8 level and these swing lows at 0.061. So I do think people are taking profit on their Bitcoin moves and moving into ETH because ETH is next. And this is why we're seeing this strong rally on a weekly candle. If this was to close here, this is a really strong weekly reversal candle. And, you know, even if we say, right, well, this consolidation is a little bit of a channel here. Let me line it up properly. Then we are for sure going up when we break out from this sideways channel that we are in. So we've got 2 touches on the bottom, 2 touches on the top, a breakout. Previous high is going to be this 200 moving average and so on. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea at all for taking some profit in Bitcoin and moving it into ETH. There's good things coming for ETH. You know, they're really center stage now. They've got a test net, and I think the date for the target date for these ETH ETFs are May. So yeah, this is for me a really nice setup. Now, trendline traders. So if we think this is going to be our first major resistance level up here, 0.06 and these swing lows, we could also potentially put in a trend line from this high, couldn't we? And move it up. So yeah, it's going to be around there. I think actually this makes the daily 200 moving average pretty interesting for ETH Bitcoin. Previously it's been really tough. Look, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. So back above that daily 200 moving average and this swing high will be key, and that's at 0.058. So what about those other coins associated with ETH that we talked about? First one was LDO. When we looked at this, we said first target was this equal measured move level at 4.08. So this is a little bit stretched for me. You know, when I look at 4 massive green weekly candles in a row like this, LDO was not going to be a bigger buy for me without a decent pullback. and so potentially 4.08 is a bit of a resistance level. I would prefer to buy pullbacks unless we can hold new highs and then we continue to 4.8 and 5.7. But if you've already got some well done, it looks really good to continue higher. I just don't think it's for in terms of swing positions or even short term into this strong resistance a good trade idea right now. So what about the some of the other ones? The other one we were looking at, of course, earlier today was Arbitrum. And in Arbitrum, we said we needed to break above this equal measured move level at 2.05, and we've absolutely smashed through it in the last couple of hours since this has been announced. So 2.05 now, beyond this equal measured move level and previous highs, becomes our support, and we're looking for this to continue higher to 2.4, but I actually think 2.86 is more likely. We're not going to go in a straight line. You need to buy pullbacks. Really, if you're looking at this, if you're not in Arbitrum, you kind of need a pullback to buy it. Really, you don't want to buy the top of a big spike move on a night like tonight, but it's certainly one to put on your watch list, because these coins, again, I think are going to become really interesting. The other ones that I think are really interesting, of course, as we talked about earlier today, are all of the AI coins, AI associated coins, and mainly because of the big breakout that we have seen in Nvidia. Let's talk about Nvidia. So basically, since the summer, we have been capped and held down at this 500 level, which for me 489 was a big kind of fib projection level, and we've been stuck in this sideways range. When we got here, I predicted that we would come back to 400. We did. Very nice three wave correction. I think we potentially are starting a really nice strong swing here. So my next target for Nvidia is 772, which I know sounds crazy at the moment, but these fib levels have really worked. Now, I don't think obviously we're going to go in a straight line, and we need to buy pullbacks. And because this 500 round level was so strong, I think potentially we could see the same, when we get to 600 and round numbers. But for me, previously, those AI coins have kind of followed Nvidia, so we'll cover them in a bigger list tomorrow, but definitely looking good. Okay, take care, trade carefully, be careful with Bitcoin, buy pullbacks, and yeah, don't get tempted in. No